This object is simply a piece of another solar system.
3i Atlas is moving closer to the sun. There's still so much we don't know, and with the sun's glare taking over, our window to see this interstellar visitor from Earth is closing fast.
The universe has sent us a warning message. It arrived in the form of an interstellar object named 3i/ATLAS, and its behavior is deeply unsettling to those who watch the skies. Scientists at NASA are raising alarms because this object, once thought to be a simple comet, is displaying features that are, to put it mildly, not natural. Its tail is fracturing, its core is disintegrating into dozens of pieces when it shouldn't, and its journey is unlike anything ever recorded. Many people are crazy about space mysteries, but this isn't just a mystery, it's an anomaly that hints at forces beyond our comprehension, a puzzle that could unlock a new and perhaps terrifying understanding of the cosmos. The blip on the screen. Out in the vast, silent theater of space, where distances are measured in lifetimes, something new and completely unexpected stepped onto the stage. It began as these things often do, not with a bang, but with a tiny faint speck of light. This light was captured by the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, a network of telescopes we call ATLAS, whose job is to scan the heavens for rocks that might pose a threat to us here on Earth. In the year 2019, they found one. It was given the designation C/2019Y4, but everyone simply called it Comet Atlas. And at first, it was cause for celebration. Many people are crazy about celestial events, and Atlas was promising to be the show of a lifetime. As it journeyed from the outer darkness toward the sun, it grew brighter and brighter, far faster than any ordinary comet. By March of 2020, astronomers were buzzing with excitement. Projections showed that by May, Comet Atlas could become so brilliant it would be visible to the naked eye, a spectacular jewel in the night sky, perhaps even outshining the planet Venus. It was on track to be the kind of great comet that our ancestors saw, a celestial event that would be remembered for decades. But not all things are what they seem. The universe, it turns out, had a very different plan for Comet ATLAS. Just as the anticipation reached its peak, something went terribly wrong. Instead of continuing its glorious brightening, ATLAS suddenly started to fade. It was like a movie star walking off the stage in the middle of a performance. Astronomers around the world trained their telescopes on the comet, trying to understand what was happening. What they saw was shocking. The comet's core, its solid nucleus of ice and rock, was breaking apart. The heart of the comet was disintegrating. This wasn't a clean break. Amateur astronomer Jose de Queiroz was one of the first to confirm the fragmentation, capturing images of 3 distinct pieces where there was once a single, solid object. But that was just the beginning. The thing nobody tells you about comets is that while they are often described as dirty snowballs, they are also ancient relics, survivors of cosmic history. They are supposed to be tough enough to make these fiery trips around the sun. Atlas, however, was acting less like a solid rock and more like a loosely packed snowball hitting a brick wall. Soon after, the Hubble Space Telescope, humanity's greatest eye in the sky, was pointed at the dying comet. The images it sent back were staggering. On April 20th, Hubble saw not 3, but 30 separate fragments. 3 days later, it saw 25. The core of the comet, which was estimated to be no larger than the length of 2 football fields, had shattered into a swarm of house-sized pieces. Each piece was now enveloped in its own dusty coma, creating a ghostly, elongated trail, a tail that was not one but many. This wasn't the beautiful, cohesive tail of a healthy comet. This was the debris field of a celestial object that had met a violent and premature end. The much-anticipated spectacle had turned into a scientific mystery. Why did it fall apart so far from the sun in a region of space where it should have been relatively safe? Comets are known to break up, but usually they do so under the immense gravitational stress of passing extremely close to the Sun or a massive planet like Jupiter. Atlas was over 145 million kilometers from Earth, well inside the orbit of Mars, but nowhere near the danger zone that would explain such a catastrophic failure. To put it mildly, this was weird. Scientists began to whisper that this behavior just wasn't natural. The warning bells weren't coming from the threat of impact, but from the chilling realization that our understanding of these interstellar visitors could be fundamentally flawed. What many overlooked in the initial excitement was the comet's origin story. Atlas shared a nearly identical orbit with the Great Comet of 1844, suggesting they were siblings, broken pieces of a much larger parent body that passed by our sun some 5,000 years ago. But that only deepened the mystery. If its parent survived that close encounter, why did this piece, ATLAS, disintegrate so spectacularly so far away from the sun? The silent alarm was ringing. This wasn't just a dying comet, it was a clue. A clue that something far stranger was at play in the cosmic dark. The object's strange death was only the first piece of an even bigger puzzle. Red flag in the void. The story of Atlas doesn't end with its fragmentation. In fact, its dramatic breakup was just one act in a much larger, more baffling play. To understand the growing concern among scientists, we have to look at another interstellar visitor, an object that shares the ATLAS name, but comes with its own set of chilling questions. This object, designated 3/ATLAS, was the third interstellar object ever detected passing through our solar system. And from the moment it was spotted, it refused to fit into any of our neat little boxes. You see, when astronomers find a new object, the first thing they do is try to classify it. Is it an asteroid, a dry rocky body, or is it a comet, an icy body that grows a fuzzy coma in a tail as it warms up? Usually the distinction is pretty clear, but 3I/ATLAS was a cosmic chameleon. When it was first observed, far out in the solar system, it appeared blue. This bluish tint is a telltale sign of a rocky asteroid. Scientists ran the data and concluded that's what it was. A chunk of rock from another star system, rich in minerals like pyroxene and olivine, much like the rocks found in Earth's own mantle. This made sense. For years, the prevailing theory was that most interstellar visitors would be rocky asteroids ejected from the gravitational pull of their home stars. So, case closed, right? Not even close. What many overlooked was that this object was on a trajectory that would take it closer to our sun, and with that warmth came a shocking transformation. Over the course of just a few months, as 3I/ATLAS flew closer, it began to change color dramatically. The object shifted from blue to a deep, rich red. In the world of astronomy, red is the color of comets. This reddish hue is typically caused by organic compounds called tholins, complex molecules that coat the surface of icy bodies in the outer solar system. They are essentially a cosmic suntan formed when ultraviolet radiation from a star cooks simpler carbon-based molecules. The fact that 3I/ATLAS was turning red suggested it was becoming active. The sun's heat was causing something to happen on its surface, revealing a completely different nature hidden beneath. It was as if a gray rock had suddenly started to blush. This transformation was a huge red flag. The leading theory is that 3I/ATLAS was a comet in disguise. Scientists now believe it had a thin outer layer of bluish, rocky material, perhaps just a few feet thick. As the sun's warmth hit it, this outer shell of frozen gases or silicates sublimated, turned directly from a solid into a gas, and was blown away. This process, known as outgassing, revealed a red carbon-rich core underneath. This would make it a hybrid comet, an object with a rocky body that was initially missing the visible signs of a comet, like a coma or a tail. But the thing nobody tells you is how deeply unsettling this two-faced nature is. Interstellar objects are supposed to be ancient. They have been traveling through the harsh environment of interstellar space for millions, perhaps billions of years. During that time, they are bombarded by cosmic rays and radiation. This cosmic weathering should give them a uniform surface, a consistent color and composition, but 3I/ATLAS looked like it had two completely different surfaces. How could a thin, delicate outer layer survive that brutal journey through the galaxy only to be burned off the moment it entered our solar system? It just didn't add up. To cause such a dramatic color change, scientists calculated that a layer over 3 feet thick had to have been vaporized from its surface. This wasn't a gentle warming, it was a violent, rapid transformation. The tidy line between asteroid and comet was being completely erased by this one object. The very definition of these celestial bodies was being challenged. This wasn't just an academic debate. It was a fundamental problem. If we can't properly identify what's flying through our cosmic neighborhood, how can we possibly understand where it came from or what it's capable of doing? The chameleon-like nature of 3I/ATLAS was a warning that these interstellar visitors are far more complex and mysterious than we ever gave them credit for. They could be hiding secrets right under their surface. And the secrets they held pointed to a violent and cataclysmic origin story. Building blocks of ruin. The mystery of Atlas, both the object that shattered and the one that changed its skin, forces us to ask a terrifying and profound question. Where did these bizarre objects come from? Their strange behavior, the unnatural fragmentation, the impossible color change, these aren't just random quirks. They are clues. Clues that point to an origin story far more violent and exotic than anything we found in our own solar system. To put it mildly, these objects may not just be stray rocks. They could be the shattered remains of a long-dead alien planet. Let's start with that deep red color. As we mentioned, it's attributed to tholins. But what exactly are tholins? The term was coined by the legendary astronomer Carl Sagan to describe the complex organic molecules he created in his lab by zapping simple gases like methane and nitrogen with ultraviolet light, simulating conditions on primordial Earth or on moons like Saturn's Titan. Tholins are sticky, reddish-brown substances, and they are incredibly important. Why? Because when mixed with water, tholins can form amino acids, the fundamental building blocks of proteins, and by extension, the building blocks of life itself. Finding them on an interstellar object is a wow factor of the highest order. It suggests the raw materials for life are not unique to our solar system, but are common throughout the galaxy. But there's a darker side to this. The presence of tholins on 3I/ATLAS, hidden beneath a rocky crust, has led to a radical new theory. Some scientists now propose that this object could be a fragment of a shattered exoplanet. Imagine a planet in a distant star system, one with a rocky silicate surface and a carbon-rich interior, perhaps even with oceans, and an atmosphere where tholins were being created. Now imagine a cataclysmic event, a collision with another planet, or the gravitational pull of its star tearing it to pieces. Such an event would send billions of fragments hurtling out into interstellar space. These fragments would have a bizarre mixed composition, a rocky exterior hiding a core of organic material. Sound familiar? This theory could explain the two-faced nature of 3I/ATLAS. It left its home system as a piece of a planet's crust. Over millions of years of travel, its surface was weathered by cosmic rays. Then, upon entering our solar system, the sun's heat burned away that outer crust, revealing the red tholin-rich interior of its long-dead parent world. This is a mind-bending idea. We might not just be looking at a comet or an asteroid. We could be holding a piece of planetary archaeology, a message in a bottle from a destroyed world. This theory also sheds new light on the dramatic death of the other comet ATLAS, the one that disintegrated. What if its parent body, the one from 5,000 years ago, wasn't a comet at all, but a larger fragment of this same shattered world? And what if these fragments are inherently unstable? The conventional wisdom is that comets are fragile, but Atlas was unusually so. It fell apart with a fragility that shocked astronomers. One scientist described its behavior as weird and hard to explain. He noted that some fragments disintegrated in a matter of days, while others lasted for weeks. This suggests the original body wasn't a uniform snowball, but a lumpy, heterogeneous mess with stronger and weaker parts cobbled together. This is exactly what you would expect from the reassembled debris of a shattered planet. It would be a cosmic rubble pile, barely holding itself together. You see, the pieces are starting to fit. The unnatural tail of Comet Atlas wasn't a tail at all. It was a debris field created by an object that was too fragile to survive even a gentle warming. The unnatural color change of 3I/ATLAS wasn't just a surface-level event. It was the unveiling of a hidden organic core. These aren't separate mysteries. They are echoes of the same violent event, a cosmic catastrophe that took place light years away and eons ago. But if these are pieces of a planet, what else could be hiding inside them? A designed trajectory. Whenever an object in space defies our expectations, there is one theory that scientists are often reluctant to discuss, but it always lingers in the background. It's the most sensational, the most controversial, and the most terrifying possibility of all. What if it's not natural? What if we are looking at a piece of alien technology? This idea was brought to the forefront by the first interstellar visitor ever discovered, the bizarre cigar-shaped object named Oumuamua. It tumbled through our solar system in 2017, and it exhibited non-gravitational acceleration, meaning something other than the sun's gravity was pushing it. Yet it had no visible tail or outgassing to explain that push. One prominent Harvard astronomer, Avi Loeb, famously proposed that Oumuamua could be an alien probe, perhaps a solar sail, just a few millimeters thick. Now, with the strange behavior of the ATLAS objects, that controversial idea is being whispered once again. The thing nobody tells you is that while the alien artifact theory is often dismissed by mainstream science, the data from some of these interstellar objects is so strange that even skeptical scientists admit they are hard to explain. When you have an object that shatters for no apparent reason, or an object that completely changes its physical properties, you're forced to consider possibilities that lie outside our current understanding of the universe. Let's reconsider the evidence in this light. The disintegration of Comet Atlas was, as one astronomer put it, very unusual. It broke up much farther from the sun than its parent comet did 5,000 years ago. Why? One theory is that outgassing from super volatile ices caused it to spin so fast that it tore itself apart. This sounds like a natural explanation, but what if that outgassing wasn't random? In the case of Oumuamua, the lack of a visible tail led to the solar sail theory. With ATLAS, could we be seeing a different kind of technological failure? Imagine a probe or a ship, dormant for millennia, whose power systems or structural integrity finally failed under the gentle warmth of our sun. Its fragmentation might not have been a natural process, but the breakdown of a complex manufactured object. Then there's 3I/ATLAS. Its trajectory is also raising eyebrows. Like Oumuamua, it's moving incredibly fast, at a velocity so high that it's clearly not bound by our sun's gravity. It's just passing through. Some have even noted that its path seems suspiciously aimed towards the inner solar system. While this is likely a coincidence, Avi Loeb has again raised the tantalizing possibility of a designed trajectory. He argues that if future observations show the absence of a cometary tail, we must seriously consider that it was sent towards the inner solar system by design. He even speculates about the object performing a clandestine maneuver while hidden behind the sun, possibly with malign intent. Now, it is crucial to state that NASA and the vast majority of astronomers strongly disagree with this hypothesis. They maintain that the ATLAS objects are natural phenomena, however strange. They point out that comets are inherently unpredictable. A NASA scientist stated that 3I/ATLAS looks like a comet and does comet things, arguing that its interesting properties are just variations on a natural theme, not evidence of alien engineering. They believe the fragmentation of C/2019 854, while rare to observe in such detail, is likely a common way for comets to die. They explain the color change of 3I/ATLAS as the sublimation of surface materials. These are perfectly reasonable scientific explanations, but they don't fully resolve the weirdness. Why was Atlas so much more fragile than its ancient parent? Why would an interstellar object have such a distinct, non-uniform two-layered surface? For the average Joe looking for a mystery, these lingering questions are hard to ignore. We are left with two competing narratives. One is a story of bizarre but ultimately natural cosmic objects that are forcing us to rewrite our textbooks. The other is a story of something far more profound, the first hints that we are not alone. The truth remains out there, leaving us to wonder, what are we missing? What happens next? So, where does this leave us? We are standing at a crossroads in our understanding of the cosmos. On one hand, we have the steady, methodical march of science, telling us that the ATLAS objects are natural, just more complex and varied than we expected. On the other hand, we have a cascade of deeply weird events that seem to defy simple explanation. For the average person looking up at the night sky, it's easy to get lost in the debate. Are we just missing a key detail in the physics of comets? Or is something truly revolutionary happening right over our heads? The thing is, the mystery of ATLAS isn't just about one or two strange objects. It's about a fundamental shift in our ability to see what's passing through our own cosmic backyard. For centuries, we believed our solar system was a closed, isolated island. The discovery of Oumuamua, then 2I/Borisov, and now the talk of 3I/Atlas has shattered that illusion. We now know that our solar system is a cosmic highway, with visitors from other star systems passing through all the time. This is a wow factor that changes everything. We are no longer just studying our own 8 planets. We are getting glimpses of the building blocks of thousands of other solar systems. This new reality forces us to confront some uncomfortable questions. If these objects are fragments of shattered planets, then it means the universe is a much more violent and chaotic place than we thought. It means that planetary destruction is a common event, and the space between stars is filled with the ghosts of dead worlds. If they carry the building blocks of life, it raises the incredible possibility that life on Earth may not have started here at all, but was seeded by one of these interstellar travelers billions of years ago. And what if, just for a moment, we entertain the more sensational idea? If even one of these objects is proven to be an artifact of an intelligent civilization, the consequences are almost too vast to comprehend. It would be the single greatest discovery in human history. It would change our science, our religion, our philosophy, our entire sense of place in the universe. NASA's lead scientist for solar system small bodies is right to be cautious, stating that the evidence overwhelmingly points to 3I/ATLAS being a natural body. Science must follow the evidence, and right now, the evidence for aliens is non-existent. But the fragmentation of Comet Atlas and the bizarre transformation of 3I/ATLAS serve as a powerful warning, a warning that we should not be too confident in our knowledge. We have only been systematically scanning the skies for a few decades. We are cosmic infants just beginning to open our eyes. These interstellar visitors are the first pages in a library of cosmic knowledge we are only now learning to read. Each one is a precious opportunity to study a piece of another star system up close. The next one could appear tomorrow or next year, and it might be even stranger than the last. The key is to keep watching, to keep an open mind, and to be prepared for the universe to surprise us. Because if there's one thing the story of Atlas has taught us, it's that the universe is under no obligation to make sense to us. The mysteries of the ATLAS objects continue to challenge astronomers around the globe. Are they just weird comets, or are they clues to something far more profound? What do you think is the strangest part of this story? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the universe's greatest mysteries.